Hi there, I'm Joe Sorgen, an associate pastor at Church of the Open Bible in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, and I went to Millar College of the Bible. And because I went to Millar, that's actually a huge reason why I am in ministry today. And so I just like to tell you a little bit about my experience at Millar and how God used that to bring me to where I'm at today. One of the many things that God showed me when I was at Millar was that I was a person who had a lot of fear. Now, I wouldn't have thought I had much fear when I first attended Millar, but the reality was there was a lot of fear in me. Fear of man is basically how I would sum it up, but a lot of fear of failure, a fear of rejection, and through my time at Millar, that started to get exposed in my life, specifically through a few different means, one being being in leadership in the dorm at Millar, and through being in leadership, talking with my mentor, with the Dean of Men, I came to realize, I really have a fear of what other people think of me. I really have a fear of failing as I'm leading in the hall. Once I realized that, I also realized I'm putting more trust in myself, in my own talents, in my own strength, rather than trusting in God to actually have success in doing these things. And really, there's no need for me to fear failure, to fear rejection, to fear man, if I'm truly fearing and trusting in God. And so through my time in leadership, God really revealed that to me. And also through different things like being on a traveling worship team called Replica at Millar. Again, there is a lot of fear of failure. What if I mess up? What if I break a guitar string, which actually happened all the time? But I just came to learn this is okay. If I fail, that's fine. I just need to continue to trust in God, and what other people are thinking of me is not really the end goal. That isn't what ultimately matters. Now that's just one small thing I learned at Millar, but another thing, as I mentioned previously, that Millar really showed me was that I was being called into vocational ministry. Now, going into Millar, I thought maybe I'll be a pastor one day. I wasn't really sure. But through my time at Millar, through a whole bunch of different experiences, I realized I think this is what God is calling me to do. So whether that be taking homiletics class, learning how to preach, how to formulate a sermon, how to speak well, and then getting opportunities to then preach at different churches. That was a huge part of me realizing this is something that maybe I want to do. And I remember one specific experience in our homiletics class. We were asked to go out to a church and to preach. And so I went to the church that I grew up in. It's a small church of 35 people or so. And I got the opportunity to preach there when I was in my third year at Millar. And after preaching at my home church, there was a lady at my church who said, "Joe, I think maybe God wants you to be in full-time ministry. You really blessed my heart today by how you preached, how you brought the word." And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone to Millar, if I hadn't been in that class. And that's just one experience. Of course, later on, I ended up doing a fourth year at Millar and being an intern at a church, a pastoral intern. And I got lots of opportunities to lead youth, which is a lot of what I do today. I got the opportunity to preach. I got the opportunity to visit people, to mentor people. And all of those skills were things that I learned and developed while I was at Millar. And again, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to have that internship outside of my experience at Millar either. And so I'm so thankful and so blessed by how God used Millar in my life to equip me for what He has called me to do today, to be a pastor and to serve the church.